Hi, hello everyone. This is Miss Komar with Homegrown Heroes, and today we're going to talk about how to repot our plants. So we have our starter pots. They're already good, they're growing, and we're going to talk about repotting them today into larger pots. So I wanted to record this outside of the meeting for anyone who can't make the meeting, and then this way we also don't have to worry about anyone's name appearing, any of the group members in the in the Zoom meeting if they didn't want their names to appear. So we're going to be talking about how to repot, and then once you have some time, you'll be able to come in and take care of that whenever you're available. All right. So there's a few different ways we can repot. I'm going to start off with some of the herbs. Herbs don't necessarily need to be separated or thinned out as much. So I have a pot already set up. It's a little bit more than halfway filled with dirt. So here I have some herbs. There's some basil. And if you have one of these pots that we're using in the year, it's 2022 right now. These are peat pots, and they're biodegradable, they're compostable, and you can actually just pot this right into your dirt. If it's a different kind, if it's a plastic one, then you'll have to remove the seedlings from it and put those in without the mini pot. So I'm going to show you how we can repot this as is. So yes, you can wear gloves. I really don't mind too much. I don't mind getting my hands dirty. So what we're going to start doing is making sure there's a little dip in the center. And I'm just going to simply put the little pot right in there. Then I want to take some more soil and then just kind of fill in around it. A little bit on top to cover the edges of the pot. But you do not want to cover all the leaves, because otherwise you cover the leaves, they can't do photosynthesis, and then they're more likely to die. So I want to cover all around it, keeping as much of the leaves exposed. As the plant gets bigger, we can always add more soil later. But you definitely want to get it all around at least. Fill in the spaces between the pot, the new pot, and the starter pot. Yes, gardening can be messy, but that's okay. Nothing wrong with that. Again, you want to make sure that the leaves are able to access the air. As they get taller, we can add more soil later. You at least want to fill it in so that the pot, the starter pot, is as covered up as it can be. Now, yes, you can still kind of see the rim of it, because if I go too much higher, I'm going to cover my leaves, and I don't want to kill my basil. So I'm just going to leave them like that. I'm going to add a little bit of water, which I have forgotten my little spray bottle, so give me one moment. So I have my spray bottle, and just nice little spray to encourage it, keep the roots moist, and get it going. And that's how you just repot the herbs. Like I said, the nice thing, you don't necessarily have to thin them out. You can if you want to, some of the smaller ones, but we can leave a good chunk of these in here. The nice thing about herbs, their roots systems are a little bit smaller, and it's more so the tops that'll spread out. The next one we're going to do is for a larger plant, such as cucumbers or pumpkins or anything like that. You can see this one here has kind of outgrown the little pot. It's not doing too good right now. It doesn't mean that it's dead. This one right here appears to be the healthiest, so I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to thin out the others. You want to be careful not to damage the roots of the one you're going to be keeping. just kind of clipping them off. And we're left with the one that we want to grow. And the reason for this being that these will have a much larger root system, so we want to provide them with as much space and as little competition as possible. I have notice a bigger pot for them so they can get that root system going and get it established before we have to really transfer it to either outside or a larger pot. I also don't have super big pots yet. Again, over halfway filled, but still plenty of space on the top. And just like before, I'm going to make a little indentation in the soil in the middle. I'm just going to take this, put it right in the middle. And since this is a taller plant, we actually can cover it past the starter pot, which is good because with these having a bigger root system, they do tend to outgrow, and some of the times the roots are poking out of the starter pot. So we want to get this all nicely covered. I want to get some more extra soil. Yeah, got my bag here. So I want to get it all nice, covered, protected by the soil. The soil is also going to act as a support system while it adjusts to its new home in the larger pot. Again, we were able to put the starter pot right in because it was a peat one. They are biodegradable. You don't have to worry about transferring it. Okay. All right, so now we got it all nice. Just like with the herbs, I'm gonna add a bit of water. Wanted to, we can even get like a chunk of the soil to help prop it up because it will be going back into our greenhouse and underneath the grow lights. I'm just gonna add a little bit more from there. I just kind of took a little chunk to prop it up so that the leaves can get as much exposure to the grow lights as possible. And now we're done with the larger plants. Now there's one other way to grow things, or to repot things. There are some plants that are smaller and we may want to maybe not thin them out, but spread them around. Like this is a pot with some carrots growing in it. You can see that the stems are getting kind of limp. That's because it's outgrowing the pot. But maybe I don't want to thin it out because I want to get multiple carrots. So what we could do instead of having this one go in separately, not separately, as a, just putting the whole thing in there, I can start by getting my soil. And this one I'm actually going to fill up pretty much almost all the way because I'm going to remove the plants from the starter pot, and so that I can spread them around. Now, anytime you take them out of a starter pot or any kind of pot, you have to be very, very careful not to damage the roots. So if you can try and kind of, maybe spray it down a little bit, that'll help loosen up the soil. You notice I've been kind of pushing in to keep the soil loose, break it away from the edges. You can also use a trowel to kind of get in there. But of course, this is a smaller pot, so once again, it's okay to get dirty. I'm going to use my fingers a little bit because I know I can do more delicate work with them rather than the trowel. You don't want to cause too much trauma, so you want to be careful of the root system. And just kind of gently drop it in. Now what you're going to want to do is actually take each individual one, maybe spread them out a little bit. Again, this isn't always guaranteed to work just because of how delicate they are, but it is a good method to try and employ. So I'm spreading them around. using my fingers to create little divots where I can then put them in. This way, since these are carrots, the main root will go down and it's not going to spread too far over, which is why we can have multiple ones in one pot. Again, we want to make sure that we spread them around so that they have room for that primary root to grow. Okay. So as you can see, I moved one here, 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 and one in the middle. Just like the others, I'm going to make sure that there's water, and I'm going to want to make sure that it has access to some unfiltered, unshadowed light from the grow lights in the greenhouse. This one is the one I'm probably going to be keeping an eye on the most. Since I had to uproot it from the starter pot, there is a greater chance of the seedlings not adapting. Sometimes with carrots or lettuce, you could start sowing them right away in a larger pot. I know I didn't have my kids in the club do that just because I was still working on getting pots and then also wondering how much room I was going to have. And when we started, I didn't have the grow lights. So if this doesn't work, then the student whose plant this is, I'll let them regrow, but hopefully it'll take root. I'm going to keep extra special eye on this one. Of course, I'm going to keep an eye on all of them to make sure that they're doing well, but this is the one I'm going to be the most worried about, and I want to keep the closest eye, make sure it has water and lots of light. But that's pretty much it. That's how you repot. Again, I wanted to make this video for those who couldn't make the meeting. As you saw, even these smaller ones, they need to be moved to a larger pot. So when you have a chance, make sure you come in, you take care of that. You've had a chance to see this video, so you know how to do it. But of course, you can always ask me, because that's what I'm here for. But in the meantime, if there are no other questions, then, well, I mean, it's a video, you can't really ask questions, but feel free to stop by, ask me, or email me. And apart from that, I'll see you guys at the next meeting or when you come in to water your plants in the greenhouse. I hope you all have a great day, and hopefully this helped, and I will see you later. Take care. Bye-bye.